Well, speaking of things that don't make your lungs feel good, I have another one of those list articles. Five unbelievable things that people have accidentally inhaled. Number one, a dentist drill bit.
Ooh.
Tom Josie, a 60-year-old man from Illinois, was getting a tooth filled at a dentist office in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Suddenly, he coughed, and the dentist stopped working on his chompers. The dentist told Josie that he had just swallowed the drill bit from his tool, but when he got taken to a hospital and doctors gave him a CT scan, they found no tools in his stomach. Instead, the drill bit was in his lung. That made recovering it much more difficult, and the doctors thought they might have to remove a part of Josie's lungs. Fortunately, Dr. Abdul Al Reyes managed to pull the drill bit out using a tool intended for early cancer detection. Quote, I was never so happy as when I opened my eyes and I saw him with a smile under the mask shaking a little plastic container with the tool in it, Josie recalled. The drill bit now resides on a shelf in Josie's home as a memento of his ordeal. Number two, a toy traffic cone. Some 40 years ago, there was a small British boy who had a bad habit of sticking pieces of his Playmobil playset in his mouth. Fast forward 40 years to 2017, and the boy, now a man, was seeking medical attention for pneumonia. An x-ray of the man's chest showed a strange lump in his right lung. Since the man had been a heavy smoker for 30 years, the doctors told him that it might be lung cancer. But during a bronchoscopy, the doctors didn't find a single sign of cancer in his airways. But they did find a small Playmobil traffic cone stuck in the airway. Turns out the man was now paying the price for his childhood habit. Fortunately, the doctors were able to remove the toy, and the man's lung issues disappeared completely. Number three, a condom. A 27-year-old Indian woman had been coughing up thick phlegm for half a year. Since she'd also been suffering from bouts of fever, doctors were worried she had tuberculosis. Bizarrely enough, although her symptoms matched the disease, all tuberculosis tests came back negative. However, during a CT scan, the doctors noticed something unusual, a bag-like lesion in the upper right lobe of her lungs. Could it be cancer? Luckily, no. When the doctors pulled it out, they discovered it was just a condom. Turns out the woman had been going down on her husband when the condom he was wearing came loose. The woman simultaneously started coughing intensely, and well, you can figure out the rest. The doctors also noted that was most likely the first medical case of it of its kind in medical literature.
So do you think small peepee or really good suction?
Could be a combination. But who wears a condom for a blowjob?
Plus, it's her husband. It wasn't just a guy; it was her husband.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That seems like no fun. I mean, look, I said I'm pro condom earlier, but for a blowjob, nah.
Next, a live fish. In 2012, an Indian boy, man, India's getting some play today in our stories. An Indian boy named Anil Barela, 12, and his friends were playing by a river. Boys being boys, the youngsters started daring each other to swallow small live fish. Anil was no chicken, and when his turn came out, he bravely popped the 3.5-inch long fish into his mouth. But immediately afterwards, he started coughing furiously and said he couldn't breathe. As you can probably guess, the fish had gone down the wrong pipe. Anil got rushed to the hospital where doctors had no choice but to perform emergency surgery on him. Some 45 minutes later, Anil and his family could all breathe a huge sigh of relief. The doctors removed the fish, which was still alive and kicking. The fish was live and taking its last breath when the bronchoscopy was done, restricting the functioning of both the lungs, resulting in low intake of oxygen, said Dr. Pramod Jawahar, the surgeon who saved Anil's life. And then finally, a tree seed that sprouted. The previous cases have all definitely been bizarre, but they have nothing on this one. After all, who ever heard of a tree growing inside someone's lungs? But that's what happened to Artyom Sidorkin, a 28-year-old man from, Izhevsk, Russia. In 2009, he went to the hospital complaining that he had chest pains and was coughing up blood. The doctors were convinced Sidorkin had cancer, especially since x-rays showed a weird growth inside his lung. But when they cut Sidorkin open, they found a 2-inch long growing fur inside the lung. I thought I was hallucinating. I blinked 3 times as I was sure I was seeing things, said Surgeon Vladimir Kamashev. Doctors believe Sidorkin had inhaled a fir seed that sprouted in his lungs since the twig was way too big to make its way to where they found it. We're not sure how a tree could sprout without light inside a lung, but here we are.
Man.
It is perplexing that they could grow in there.
Well, I mean, seeds grow underground before they hit light.
But I mean, it would be getting like all the nutrients it needs to grow.
I guess.
He's like, it's all that dirt I fucking swallowed down my It is bizarre. Man, I remember hearing a story years ago, and I don't remember like exactly what happened to this guy, but there was a guy that like loved like microwavable popcorn, and he would just eat it like every day.
Oh yeah.
And like eventually like it gave him popcorn lung, like it fucked with his lungs. I don't remember why or
Yeah, there's some chemical.
exactly. Yeah, something. He just like he consumed enough of it that it like fucked up his lung. I have no idea if that was like something that's now like outlawed in microwave popcorn, or if it's just one of those things where like we never foresee somebody eating this much of it.
Yeah.
There's a little warning on there. Don't eat this every day.